So to start with today's topic, loving kindness, let us first understand what is loving kindness, and for a beginner, how should one start practicing loving kindness?
Yes, a great teacher, the Supreme Buddha, explains in Pali, loving kindness is known as metta, and what metta means is friendliness. So as someone who spreads friendliness or loving kindness to the whole world, that person is able to get rid of anger. So he's a person who lives anger-free life, a hate-free life. The Supreme Buddha explains the solution to getting rid of anger and abandoning anger is cultivating this loving kindness meditation or loving kindness thoughts within you. As a beginner, it's best if you can allocate a certain amount of time throughout your day to practice the meditation. For example, say you can use the time during your lunch break to go to a very quiet place, and then you can start the meditation. Or if you're someone who doesn't have the time, or if you're not able to find a quiet place, then you have no other choice but to practice this meditation throughout your busy schedule. So for example, it could be the time that you're driving, or it could be the time that you're shopping, or pushing your grocery cart, exactly, the trolley. And while you're doing that, you can little by little practice this meditation. And what's important is you have the honest urge or the honest need to practice this meditation, because if you don't have that want, the desire to actually practice the meditation, then there is no way that you will allocate a certain time of your life, of your daily schedule to practicing the meditation. So as a beginner, you must first honestly want to practice this meditation, because by now you have understood the danger of anger.
Yes.
So as a beginner, so you must try to allocate a certain time, and during that time, if you can free yourself from other responsibilities and duties, then it's best. Because for example, if you're trying to practice the meditation throughout your busy schedule, then you might be getting calls, or some people might be coming and trying to speak to you, disturb you, and that will break your concentration. So that makes it much harder for you to practice. So once you find the right time and the right place, you can go and relax yourself a bit and try to concentrate on your body. And go from your head to toe and just kind of concentrate your body and know where you are. It could be your living room, it could be your office room. So just know exactly where you are and slowly relax yourself. And the other thing you must know is this meditation you can practice in either of the 4 postures. So you can be walking, you can be sitting, you can be standing, or you can even be lying down wakefully. So this meditation is something that you can practice in either of the 4 postures. So that actually makes it easy for a lot of people.
Actually, I wanted to ask, is it something that loving kindness is something that you should do sitting down, or are there any other way to practice loving kindness?
Yeah, the Supreme Buddha has not specified saying you have to practice the loving kindness meditation sitting down. The Supreme Buddha has said you can spread loving kindness in either of the 4 postures. So while you're walking, you can be doing that, and while you're sitting, you can be spreading loving kindness, or while you're lying down wakefully, you can practice loving kindness, or while you're standing, so you can practice loving kindness, which gives you the opportunity to practice this meditation in anywhere at any time, because you can do so in all 4 postures. For example, the Supreme Buddha has specified if it's the breathing meditation, the Anapanasati meditation, that you have to make sure that you sit down and you have erect body in practicing. But for this meditation, the Supreme Buddha has not specified that you have to actually sit down and do the meditation. So you can do so in either of the 4 postures, which actually makes it much easier for you. And so as a beginner, that's what you must try to do, and you must try to practice this meditation little by little. Now, for example, if you're a beginner, if you say, okay, now I'm going to sit down for 1 hour and practice the meditation, it's quite difficult for you to do it. It's a nice goal to have, but it's quite difficult for you to do. So what you must do is have a short
time slots.
Exactly, have short time slots, and it could be maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and just take that time and practice little by little, because with practice is where you will understand, you're able to get your mind to concentrate little by little. So allocate a small amount of time throughout the day, and it could be the morning, the evening, and at night. So it could be throughout the day, or it may be time allows you only to do it once a day. So however where your time is, however time allows you, you can allocate a certain amount of time and do so little by little. And with time, with practice, then you will be able to one day sit for 1 hour and practice the meditation for a whole hour. Then that will actually be possible. But as a beginner, then you must try little by little, because or else you may give up easily, because you'll think, you know, oh no, I cannot do this.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the best thing to do is try to allocate a certain amount of time, and be persistent and be continuous in practicing the meditation.
Yeah, that is something that we all fail to do, because when we listen to programs, when we get to know new, it inspires us, and you want to sit down, you have that all the motivation on the first day.
Yeah.
As the days go by, you tend to forget.
Your eagerness fades away.
Exactly, and you don't want to sit down and do that anymore.
Exactly. Now if that's the case, then you won't be able to experience the true results of loving kindness meditation, because this is something you must continue to do persistently throughout your life. So if you give up halfway, then you'd say things like, you know, loving kindness meditation doesn't work for me, my anger is still the same. You cannot do that. You have to honestly make an earnest effort consistently, then only can you experience the results.
Benefits of loving kindness.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Menon, is there a specific way to spread loving kindness exactly?
Yes, actually there is. The Supreme Buddha has taught us 2 different ways of spreading loving kindness, and I think this is very important that we learn, because most of the time a lot of people don't know the direct teaching of the Supreme Buddha, and a lot of people resort to many different ways of practicing loving kindness because they don't know the direct teaching. And that's something very important, is as we learn the Dhamma, we must make sure that everything that we do is directly the Dhamma that the Supreme Buddha has taught. So our great teacher, the Blessed One, has taught us in many suttas of 2 different ways of spreading loving kindness. And the first way is known as Mahagata Cheto Vimukti, and what that means is the exalted deliverance. And how you use that method is, you first start with yourself. So you think, you know, may I be free from anger, may I be free from ill will, may I be free from jealousy, may I be free from physical and mental suffering, may I live happily. So you first concentrate on yourself and you spread loving kindness to yourself. So friendly towards yourself is the idea. And then little by little what you do is you expand the area of focus. So then next, if you're someone at home who's spreading loving kindness, you can think, may all beings in my home be free from anger, be free from hatred, be free from ill will, be free from physical and mental suffering, may all of them be free from, may all of them live happily. And then you expand it even further, and you expand your focus of meditation to your village or town. So may all beings in my town, may all beings in my province, and in this way you increase your area of focus up to the country, up to the world.
Okay.
So this is what's known as the exalted deliverance of spreading loving kindness. And then the second way the Supreme Buddha has taught is the boundless deliverance of loving kindness. And what that is again, just like the first method, you start concentrating on yourself. So may I be free from anger, may I be free from hatred, may I be free from ill will, may I live happily, free of physical and mental suffering. And once you focus on yourself, then in this method what you do is you concentrate your mind of loving kindness towards the 10 directions. So all beings in the northern direction, all beings in the northeastern direction. In this way, all beings in the upper direction, all beings in the lower direction, all beings in the 10 direction. May all of them be free from anger, be free from hatred, be free from ill will. May they be free of physical and mental suffering. And may all of those beings be well and happy. And now you can see in this boundless method, now you're focusing your mind of loving kindness, this wholesome thought towards all beings in the direction. Now when we say a direction, we cannot put a boundary to it. It's boundless.
Yeah.
So all beings, whatever being there is in that direction, you're focusing your mind of loving kindness towards all beings. So it's immeasurable. and in this way you do so towards the 10 directions. So these are the 2 ways the Supreme Buddha has explained we must practice loving kindness meditation. And as of course, as you practice this meditation, especially as a beginner, your mind will get distracted a lot. But when that happens, you shouldn't give up. What you must do is you must go back to the object of meditation and continue through. So for example, now suppose you're practicing the meditation and you're thinking, if you're practicing the boundless meditation, now you're in the eastern direction, and then someone comes and speaks to you or distracts you, and a lot of people would think, oh no, it's okay, I'll just give up, I'll just stop now. It's alright if someone comes and distracts you, then you can continue. Once that conversation is done, you can continue through. So the idea again is to continue without giving up. Make that effort persistent. And as you practice, you'll be able to concentrate easily. Your mind won't get distracted with things like remembering things that you are supposed to do, remembering things that you did not do, things like that. So your mind will get less and less distracted with practice. So this is how our great teacher, the Blessed One, has taught us as to how to spread loving kindness. So you can use either of the 2 methods to practice the meditation.
When you say has either of the 2 methods, is it all right to use both together, or is there a...
Yes, of course, yes.
Okay.
You can do both together. You can use one if you would like, or another one. Exactly. So
Okay.
there is one is not better than the other. The Supreme Buddha has not specified it in any way.
Just 2 different ways.
2 different ways of spreading loving kindness. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you spread loving kindness, when you want to sit down and try to spread loving kindness, sometimes we see people get some irritation in the sense like they remember the people whom they are not very good with, whom they are angry with, so they try to create a conflict within themselves. So and then they fail in spreading loving kindness. And how would you advise such audience?
Yes, sometimes there are certain people that when we see them, we just feel very resentful, and that resentment can actually come when you haven't tried to practice the meditation. Of course, that can happen. And during such a situation, the Supreme Buddha has said, if you have a resentment or a feeling of anger towards a specific person, then you must direct your focus onto that person. So for example, say you're very angry with your boss. You know, he's always in an angry mood. He's always blaming you. No matter how well you try to do your job, he's always finding some mistake, finding faults. He's always blaming you, and you feel very irritated with him. You don't have a good relationship with him, and even the thought of your boss just scares you, or because you know the next time you go to your boss, now he's going to start blaming me, and you're scared to even visit your boss. So in such a situation, when you have someone specific that you feel resentment with, or you feel angry with, the Supreme Buddha has explained you must focus your mind of meditation, your mind of loving kindness towards that very specific person. So you think, you know, may he or she be free from anger, may she be free from ill will, hatred, may she be free from physical and mental suffering, and may she be well, may she live happily. And what happens is when you focus your mind in that way, when you focus your loving kindness mind towards that specific person, you will realize that resentment, that feeling of resentment, that angry feeling, that resentment kind of goes away. Because at first glance, a lot of people think that loving kindness meditation is just for yourself, but it really isn't. If you're someone who spreads loving kindness, the external world can feel it. So this is why when you specify a person as spread loving kindness, then that person himself will feel you. Yeah.
That's really interesting to know. But when you really practice, some may want to see results instantly. How would that happen so instantly, or would you want to practice loving kindness to that direct specific person for a longer period of time?
Well, we cannot specify a time period, but of course you cannot expect instant results, because especially if you're someone who's just beginning to practice the meditation, now you have to realize that loving kindness is not just a mere mere way of expression. It's something that must come out of your heart. So it's quite difficult to truly develop loving kindness from your heart, because what it means is, if you have a true loving kindness from your heart, that means you have developed your mind to quite an extent. So as a beginner, we are still not at that stage. So we're trying to practice, we're trying to build that good heart within us. So that takes some time. You cannot expect instant results. So but as with time, of course, you will be able to experience the result of the benefit of loving kindness for sure, but it takes some time.
Absolutely. So as you practice loving kindness, you would see the behavioral changes on the other person probably in a probably a longer period of time. But before that, you have developed your own self, so that you have that patience to even go through that the pain that whoever is causing you.
Definitely.
When you have that loving kindness within you.
Yes.
So also, Manyan Wahansa, sometimes you see people making mistakes. Some mistakes are really, you think that is a very foolish thing to do, and you cannot even relate to it. So everywhere we see people doing crazy things, and you can't really come to terms with any of those. So you naturally lose loving kindness. You tend to get angry with that person. How would you advise such a situation?
Definitely. I mean, as someone who's trying to concentrate your mind and get rid of anger, of course, living in a regular, ordinary society, it's quite difficult to maintain that mind of loving kindness throughout the day. So that is why, in reply to that, in the Dhamma, there are different ways that you can use to get rid of this angry, resentful feeling. And in one sutta, the Supreme Buddha explains, when you see others' faults, when you see other people doing wrong things or saying wrong things, then this is what you must do. The Supreme Buddha in the Dhamma, it stated that, now suppose there's someone who's always engaging in bodily misconduct, that is, he's always going and killing and hurting other people, or he's always stealing and cheating others. And so when you see people doing those things, if you're someone, when you see those things, then you get angry, and you become resentful towards those people, isn't it? And the Supreme Buddha explained, in such a situation, if you get angry, then that feeling of anger will only cause you harm. And so, in order to get rid of that anger, in the Dhamma, it stated that when you see a person engaging in bodily misconduct, then look within that person and see, yes, it's true he engages in bodily misconduct, but he's not someone who engages in verbal misconduct. That means he's not someone who lies. He doesn't go and break other people's friendships by saying things. He doesn't gossip. So if he has a good side, if his speech is positive, if his speech is good, then the Supreme Buddha explains you must reflect on his speech and then think, oh no, he's a good person, and think in that way and get rid of their anger. And then in Dhamma it stated, in fact this was Arahant Sariputta who taught this sutta. It stated that if you see someone who's always lying, now all he does is gossip, he's always saying pointless speech, and he's breaking people's friendship, so he has very unwholesome speech. However, he has a good side to him. That means he doesn't go and kill living beings. He has good bodily conduct. He doesn't steal other people's things. He's faithful to his wife, or she's faithful to her husband. So she has a good side in terms of the bodily conduct. So then it's stated you must think about his bodily good conduct, and you must try to get rid of your anger in that way. And then it's stated there are some people who engages in bodily misconduct as well as verbal misconduct. So people go and kill other beings, hurt other beings, they lie, engage in sexual misconduct. So they are unwholesome in all ways. But then those people, from time to time, they do good things. So from time to time, they do say a word of truth. They do encourage others to do good. Or they do give alms, and they do share their things with other people. So then Arahant Sariputta says, think about that. Think about the fact that he at least does good things, he thinks good things from time to time. So think about that and get rid of your anger. And then it's stated there are some people who none of those three factors can be found. That means they have verbal misconduct, bodily misconduct, and there is no space within them where they think in a good way. And then it stated that if it's for such a person, then you must be compassionate toward that person, because knowing the danger that he's in, knowing the harm that he's causing himself, you must be compassionate toward that person and not be angry. In fact, there's a simile to explain this. Sariputta explains, now suppose there's a person who's really sick. No, he's really sick, and he doesn't have any medicine on him. He doesn't have any attendant to take care of him, and he's now on a long journey. Now he's in between the destinations, and he's stuck. There's no one to take care of him. Now you're also going in that same path, and you see that sick person. Now how would you feel? You'd feel compassionate toward that person, right? Because he's alone.
Right.
Exactly, and he's alone. There's no one to take care of him. He's in a very difficult situation. You feel compassion for him. You feel sympathy for him, right? This it's stated, Sariputta explains, just like you feel sympathy for that person who's helpless, you must think of those people who acts bodily, verbally in the wrong way, as well as those people who don't even think a good thought. Even from time to time, you must have some compassion towards that person and get rid of that anger. Sometimes what happens is there are good people. They don't lie, they don't go and murder people or kill people, they don't hurt a single living being, and they don't cheat others. They are good people. But sometimes you feel angry with such people as well, isn't it? And there's really no reason for you to be angry with, but you feel angry with those people. And so the Supreme Buddha explains, in such a situation, again, you must try to recollect their good qualities and get rid of that anger, because in that sutta it's very clear that anger is so harmful. That is the reason that Sariputta is explaining, try all these methods and try to get rid of the anger, because anger really causes so much harm to you.
So, as you said, we do get angry with the people who do mistakes, people who do genuine mistakes with such verbally and bodily, and at the same time with the people who are really good. So it's something that you need to, I feel it's something that you need to sort out with your own self, not with the outside world, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, when you get angry, it's because it's a conflict within you. It's really not the problem outside. It's the way you think. It's the way your mind is controlled. So anger is really something that's caused within you, and it's something that you yourself can control within yourself. So blaming other people or pointing the finger at other people is really not the solution. So if you're someone who's practicing loving kindness, who tries to develop a heart filled with loving kindness, and you become responsible for your own mind, your own actions, then you definitely will be able to get rid of those resentful feelings that you have within you. Definitely.
Absolutely. You're watching Path to Happiness, and we are discussing about loving kindness. We are taking a short break, and stay with us. Welcome back to Path to Happiness. We were discussing about how to spread loving kindness and the limitations and the techniques of spreading loving kindness. Sometimes when you try to spread loving kindness and try to be very calm and quiet, sometimes you see people unduly blame you sometimes for reasons that you are really responsible for, and sometimes for the reason that you are really not responsible for. So in such situation, how do you continue to spread loving kindness?
Definitely. I mean, spreading loving kindness is not easy. So you really have to make an honest effort and try really hard to maintain that anger-free mind. And so in the Dhamma it's stated that if someone comes and blames you and say harsh words to you, then you must be patient with that person. And so now the natural reaction when a person comes and blames us or say harsh words to us is to say harsh words back to that person, isn't it?
Yeah.
when someone comes in and say bad words to us, or harsh words to us, hurtful words to us, the natural reaction is we start to blame that person in return. We say, oh, you're like this, you did that, and we start to point the finger at others. But in the Dhamma it's stated that when you're being spoken to with harsh words, with hurtful words, then you must be patient. And patience is, enduring those harsh words is something that you must build within yourself. And in fact, when you're a powerful person, if you can withstand harsh words coming from someone who you can control, then in the Dhamma it's stated, then there's nothing greater than patience that's being developed by a powerful person. What I'm referring to here is, when you're powerful, then you have the power or the authority to control
the other person
who's scolding you. For example, you can take, if you're a boss and a certain worker is coming and blaming you and saying all these things about you, harsh words about you. Now you're the boss, you have the authority to control that person, you have the authority to shut him off. But if you be patient, if you stay patiently and endures those words, then in the Dhamma it's stated, then that's what's most valuable. Because it's not easy. If you're a powerful person and you withstand and you be patient with that person, then you're someone who's honestly developing a good quality within you. Now in the ordinary world, if someone comes and blames you and say bad things about you, hurtful things about you, and if you stay quiet, then those around you say, why did you stay quiet? Why didn't you say back to him? Why didn't you talk back to that person?
Society is geared enough to get us in the wrong direction.
Exactly. So then the ordinary society is not helping you in developing a good human quality. But in the Dhamma it's stated, and even when people are blaming you, saying hurtful words to you, if you can be patient without giving rise to anger, then you're the supreme person there. Especially if knowing, in the Dhamma it's stated, knowing the other person has gotten angry, if you can stay anger free, calm and peaceful, then you're the one who's developing within you.
And you win, and the person
of course, and you win. And the thing is, what you're doing is you're calming the situation down, right? Because if someone comes and starts to blame you and you blame in return, then it turns into a big fight almost.
But when you
exactly, and if you don't say a word, then that person, what happens? That person stops at one point, isn't it? So it's really the way you control your mind. Actually, there's a beautiful example in the Dhamma where someone named Akkosa Bharadaja comes to meet a great teacher, the Supreme Buddha. The Supreme Buddha was going on the alms route at that time. And what happened is, this person named Akkosa Bharadaja, he came and started blaming a great teacher, the Blessed One, saying, you're like this, you're like this. He was so sad. He was very angry because family members from his home got ordained under the Supreme Buddha. Of course, he was a Brahmin, so he was very angry with the fact that people from his family got ordained and went to the following of the Buddha. And so that's why he started to blame all these, say all these bad things about the Supreme Buddha, revile and abuse the Buddha. And of course, being defiled free, of course, our great teacher is an arahant, does not have any desire, hatred or delusion within the Supreme Buddha. So being an arahant, our great teacher, the Supreme Buddha, what he did is, he waited patiently until Akkosa Bharadaja was finished. And after he was finished, the Supreme Buddha asked Akkosa Bharadwaja, do relatives come to visit you? And so Akkosa Bharadwaja replied, Venerable Sir, yes, they do come to visit me. And so the Buddha asked, do they bring gifts to you? And so Akkosa Bharadwaja replied, yes, Venerable Sir, they do bring gifts sometimes. And the Blessed One asked, what do you do if you don't want those gifts? And then Akkosa Bharadwaja replied, Venerable Sir, if I don't want them, I give it back to them. And so at that time, a great teacher, the Supreme Buddha, explains, just like that, you blame us who do not blame you in return. You scold us who do not scold you in return. You revile us who do not revile you in return. We do not accept those harsh words that you gave us, so you can have them in return. So you can see how being patient and enduring those harsh words, how a great teacher, the Blessed One, face those difficult situations. Exactly.
Absolutely.
So patience is something the Supreme Buddha explains. Kyanti bhiyo na vijjati. That means there's nothing greater than patience. If you can be a patient person, then you can really win all troubles in life. So it's a good quality for you to develop within you.
And when you say patient, that also reminds me of a sutta called Kakachupama Sutra.
Definitely, of course. In that sutta, the Supreme Buddha explains a beautiful simile. In that sutta, what the Blessed One says is, from time to time, people will say certain words to you. People will speak the truth to you, or they will say false things to you. People will say things that's beneficial to you, or things that are harmful to you. So, people will talk to you with a mind of loving kindness, or sometimes people will say words, that's induced by hatred. So in this way, there are different types of speech you'll hear, and the Supreme Buddha explains, however, when you hear those types of speech, you should not get angry. You should not let those words change your mind. That's what the Blessed One says. You should not let those words, whether it be true or false, whether beneficial or unbeneficial, none of those words you should not let those affect your mind. Exactly. And you should maintain a mind of loving kindness. And in that sutta, the Blessed One gives a nice simile. And the Supreme Buddha explains, because even if a bunch of thieves gets together and cuts your limbs in half with a two-sided saw, you should not get angry. If a person gets angry, even in such a difficult situation, then he is not following my teaching. So now that really gives us the standard to which our great teacher expected us to abandon anger. I mean, we don't, as normal people, we don't face such difficult situation where people come and cut off our limbs. The maximum or the worst situation we face is someone coming and blaming us or something.
Or
someone
even
saying,
for not smiling with
absolutely, something as simple as not smiling with you or not talking to you, maybe just passing by, not talking to you, that causes you to be angry. Exactly. So we, in the ordinary world, we face very simple situations. So in those situations, then what more can you say? Of course, you have to be very patient and maintain a loving kindness mind. Absolutely, yes.
And also, isn't that Maha Siddhanada Sutra Manan Wahansa, where Arham Sariyutta Tharan Wahansa was talking about be like the earth and be like the...
Yes, that's in that sutta, Arhan Sariputta, when a monk came and started to revile or say bad things about Arhan Sariputta, and in that sutta, Arhan Sariputta reveals to us about the condition of his mind, and in that sutta, the Arhan Sariputta says, I'm like the earth. I'm like the water, and
I'm like the fire.
I'm like the fire, exactly. And the idea is, you put dirty things to the fire, things like feces and urine and bad, foul things to the earth. But the earth does not say, no, don't put this on me. You burn foul things in fire, and you put foul things into water. But none of those elements, say, no, don't put this onto me. They bear with it and stay. Accept it, and just like that, Arhan Sariputta says, I am like that. You can say all of these things about me, but I am not someone who gets angry. So he reveals his real true nature of his mind. Absolutely.
To that level, the loving kindness has been
developed to such a high extent. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, so as the last segment, I think we should also help our friends to tell them what are the benefits of loving kindness, so that they will get ready from now onward to practice loving kindness.
Absolutely. Great teacher, the Blessed One, explains, in addition to getting rid of anger, practicing loving kindness meditation allows you to gain 11 other benefits. And one of those benefits is being able to sleep well at night. And as you know, getting a good night's sleep is so important to all of us. If you don't get a good night's sleep, what happens is the next day you'll be very cranky, much stressful, and you don't feel comfortable at all, and it's quite difficult for you to engage in concentrate and do a regular task. So it's very important to get a good night's sleep. And the Supreme Buddha explains, if you're someone who practices loving kindness meditation, then you will be able to get a good night's sleep. A lot of people, when they go to sleep, they're rolling from this side to the other side, and they cannot fall asleep.
And there's bad dreams also coming through.
That's actually another benefit that we'll talk about,
Okay.
for sure. So the Supreme Buddha explains, when you practice loving kindness meditation, what happens is you don't have those angry thoughts within you. Now remember, one of the reasons we can't sleep is when our mind is very restless.
Absolutely.
It's jumping from one thought to another, like a monkey jumping from one branch to another. So when our mind is very restless, it's quite difficult for us to fall asleep. So if someone practices loving kindness meditation, then it helps him to get rid of those thoughts of anger, and it helps us to calm his mind a bit, and a direct benefit you get is you are able to sleep well. So it's a very, I think it's a very beneficial benefit for all
Absolutely.
of us. And another benefit is the benefit of being able to wake up very happily. Now I think this is also very important. A lot of us, when we sleep, I suppose you get a good night's sleep, but when you wake up, you feel very tired, or you feel very lazy to get up. You don't feel like getting up.
You're grumpy to get up.
Exactly, and when the alarm goes off, what you do is you go and snooze it, exactly, because you want to sleep a bit longer. But if you practice loving kindness meditation, one of the benefits you get is you get up very happily, very easily. You don't, someone doesn't have to come and ask you to get up, ask you to, it's late, get up. The moment you get
energy to get
exactly, the moment you wake up, you can get up very happily, easily, and it's something that you cannot get from anything else, from doing anything else. So that's another benefit that you get from practicing loving kindness meditation. And another important benefit of loving kindness meditation, as you mentioned before, is you don't have bad dreams. Nightmares. I mean, this is something a lot of people really have trouble with. A lot of people have night terrors. Especially children go through this a lot, and when you have these bad dreams, these night terrors, some people end up having to go to doctors and resort to medical help. Exactly, medical help to get rid of this problem. But a great teacher, the Supreme Buddha, explains, if you practice loving kindness meditation, then you won't get those bad dreams. You won't get those night terrors where you wake up in the middle of the night scared and afraid and screaming. And that actually, especially if children has to go through that, the whole family can be affected. So that can be very harmful for the whole family. So if even as a family with your children, if you can practice this loving kindness meditation, at least maybe before bed, if not anything else, if before bed you can take 5 or 10 minutes and just spread loving kindness, then definitely with practice, with time, you'll be able to experience these results. So that's another benefit of practicing loving kindness meditation. And another benefit the Blessed One explains is another benefit the Supreme Buddha explains is you become very pleasing to others. Now, as human beings, it's very natural for all of us to be liked. We want to be liked by others. We want to be pleasing to others, isn't it? And so we do a lot of things to make ourselves pleasing to others, make ourselves be liked by others. We all want to be loved and liked by others. And so the Supreme Buddha explains, if you're someone who practices loving kindness meditation, so that means you're someone who really wants to get rid of anger. You're really someone who's trying to develop good thoughts within you. And so you're always thinking, may I be free from anger, may others be free from anger. And so you're thinking for the benefit of yourself as well as others. If you're someone like that, then it's normal that other people will like you and find you to be affectionate, isn't it? People will really care about you, look into your needs. This is something you'll be able to experience. So you become pleasing to other people. And of course, not just to other people, the Supreme Buddha explains, you become pleasing to even spirits. So that's something we can talk about a bit later. But you become pleasing to all beings really in this world, and that's something that you cannot gain from anything else. And Another benefit the Supreme Buddha explains of this loving kindness meditation is you're able to concentrate your mind easily. So if you're someone who practices the loving kindness meditation, you can concentrate your mind easily. So you might be practicing another type of meditation, whether it be breathing meditation or impermanent meditation. Even through those meditation, you can concentrate your mind easily, because it's a benefit of practicing this loving kindness meditation. So that's another benefit.
Actually, that is a very good benefit for the students who are studying. So one big the problem that they have is they cannot concentrate, they cannot study.
Absolutely. As students who have very hectic schedules and who tries to memorize things and remember things, and practicing loving kindness meditation is definitely a benefit for you. It will definitely improve your memory and help you to concentrate much better. And another very interesting benefit of loving kindness meditation is your complexion becomes very pleasant. Now that's something that we all like to have.
We do
right?
a lot of things to get
exactly.
that,
We resort to makeup and all
fairness
those
cream too.
Exactly, different creams, all of these things, all these products, cosmetic products. But if you're someone who practices a loving kindness meditation, you don't need any of those things. Your complexion naturally becomes very pleasant. And now, of course, that doesn't mean if you're a dark person you become a very fair person.
Absolutely.
What it is whatever your color may be, you get a nice, very pleasant complexion. Exactly.
Even a person who is very fair cannot look very pleasant at any time.
Absolutely. So if you're someone who practices loving kindness meditation, your complexion becomes very very pleasant
and
vibrant. Exactly. And you'll find that people will come and ask you, what cream do you use? Because, no, this is actually true. Exactly. People will come and ask you, what do you use? And of course you can tell them, what I use is loving kindness meditation. This is something you can definitely experience in life. And of course, another benefit the Supreme Buddha explains is if you're someone who spreads loving kindness, that means anger-free thoughts, then you won't be hurt by things like fires or weapons or poison. So somehow, though, if you're about to face such a danger, you're able to get yourself out of it. Now, for example, suppose a fire is to occur in your office one day. That day, if you're someone who practices loving kindness meditation, I guess it could be due to the merit that you're collecting. Maybe on that day you end up taking leave. Somehow that
happens.
Exactly. Somehow you don't end up in those troubles where you face sudden accidents, or you're hurt by things like fires and floods and weapons. So you're able to get rid of all those.
You're naturally protected.
Absolutely, it's a natural protection. Loving kindness meditation, and of course, at the end, the Supreme Buddha explains you die mindfully. You're able to die mindfully, and you're able to be born in higher worlds. So those are some of the excellent benefits that you can gain by practicing loving kindness meditation.
So, dear friends, we spoke about loving kindness well in detail today. We spoke about how to spread loving kindness, how one should prepare himself to spread loving kindness, and finally we went and spoke about most of the benefits of loving kindness, which are really good enough for us to start spreading loving kindness from now on. So let us all share our merits with Dhamma and Mahansa, and may Triple Gems bless you. Namo Buddhaya.